I upload all my VODs to YouTube. Is the stream better now? It was kind of cutting out before because I was uploading. Um, yeah, it sounds good. All right, so I'm recording. I'll upload this later, like I say. Um, okay, we're against Cloud9 Sneaky. It's gonna be an interesting VOD review. Scarra. Huh, nice. Right on. Well, it looks like Jin and Brand switched. I really hope they did. God, for your sake. Okay, so we start ring 2 pots. It's good. Instantly come out for a semi-productive invade. Wow. Okay. Yes. Karma wins. I would say we should be looking for the back, but I don't think we'll have enough time to actually get out and catch the first wave. We'll probably have to submit the 100 health for priority. We really can't afford to fall behind on the level 2 to Brand because of how much we'll get zoned. We can kind of afford to fall behind as far as health value goes early because Brand spells are very dodgeable with a long hangover time. So hopefully by the time that level 2 comes around, skirmishes, most of this health deficit is actually leveled out. Alright, so mid lane late wave meets. We're looking forward to pushing since we have a health deficiency, or at least I hope that's the thought pattern. Brand instantly comes up for the wave priority. It's just fine. I think that this first Q could have actually been better utilized to thin out the wave, so you have to look at the overall health of the wave in total, and should you have killed the first minion before the Q came out, then you would have been able to hit the second minion as well. Nice trade, electrocute damage. Ooh. The challenger juke, standing still to not do anything. Zoe damage, impeccable. Nice. This is some pretty strong mechanical proficiency that is above definitely my elo of coaching. I can definitely coach you through some of the wave manipulation though. I think how you pressed it early, given the amount of mechanical proficiency I see from you, doesn't really match up. I think it was just a strong inconsistency. Hopefully it's more or less just a fluke. Um, but Zoe damage is like absolutely broken. Plus he kind of opened himself up for it too. Yeah, right. Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these are kind of the things I expect from a master tier player, but also picking apart a D1 plus brand mid who should know how to play against this is kind of interesting. Because given his spell hangover and the way that he was positioned in lane, he was kind of asking for it. But I also don't think that he was expecting this amount of damage to come out. So here, right? This is just like small. Um, and this is something that LS coaches all the way up the ranks. Securing the mid lane, the mid minion here, um, with the E is really nice. But I want to back up. See you auto here, right? When you're thinking about cast times under turret, you have to think about like cast distance in relation to the turret. Okay, so this minion is very easily securable, but you need to wait until the tower shot that's about to kill this minion is closer to killing it. All relative to what the health of this minion is as soon as it's dying to the damage it's taking from the backline of your wave. Okay, so should you wait until this next shot is roughly 3/4 of the way down towards this menu, you will be able to capture both. And I have to point out these minor discrepancies because this isn't something I'd point out. You do, yeah, this is true. On a real server. Okay, John. So I have to point out these minor discrepancies because, like, when I coach the man with hands, all right, light poacher, it's a similar situation. Like, really good mechanical players, you have to be able to drive the Mario Kart wagon perfectly once you get ahead, though. You get a small advantage, and you can't afford to miss even a few CS under turret that are easily capturable because that adds up 1, 2, 3, 4, 10 CS in a matter of 5 waves. It's not as significant in lower elo, but here it can make a huge difference. So, should you have waited, this minion is capturable. And like I say, it's not something that I would point out to someone else, but I just want to make sure that we maintain a relative pattern of consistency. Oof. Yeah, I don't know what Brand's doing, to be completely honest. Very interesting. Your bot lane is getting railed. So I kind of want to address something, but I want to see you do it really before I address it because I think that what you're doing is allowing him priority or trying to gain more priority so that you can have greater influence around the map. When in reality, I think that we can be vastly more oppressive by freezing the lane. So, how do I address this? When you're this far ahead in the lane, okay, we've discussed this in other elos. High D1, Masters, low Challenger, whatever light poacher is on any given day, however tilted he is. Um, we really want to approach this differently, right? So it's amazing to continue to have this amount of wave priority and management inside of the lane. But what I want to see happen is the golden money zone that we talk about all the time with light poacher, and why he's able to abuse top lane so well works the same in mid. Okay, so here we have like the relative range of the turret, right? Like I don't care, like this isn't exactly perfect, but what we're focused on is like this front portion here, okay? So all of this, god damn it, I swear with you. It's every time. I have a love-hate relationship with this thing. This is like the money zone, okay? Right here. This is where the real oppression comes in. Everything that happens in this portion of the lane should be 100% Zoe just shoving it down the enemy mid laner's throat. Okay? Because you stack wave here, you stack wave here, you stack wave here again, maybe even there, it's probably more realistic. And then when this wave stacks here like this is where you really start to delve in and you start to be able to zone off with Zoe. As he goes for this minion, throw Q star paddle, okay? And then star paddle like this. All right, and not only are you trying to do the damage, it doesn't have anything to do with the damage, but wave priority at this point comes secondary to keeping Brand in the dirt because you're not doing anything with this priority. Once you hit 6 and you can make better adequate plays around the map, absolutely, and it's 100% feasible. You can still maintain your CS and your relative XP advantage in lane by zoning him off of his CS and his XP, or punishing him thereof as he goes for the CS XP, and you take the trade, thus giving yourself a health advantage in lane. And what I don't want to see is you just continuously oppressing this guy by priority because you're just feeding him. You're just funneling him the gold. He's already so far behind that he's just going to get decked out in this lane. But you need to oppress. As wave stacks here, this is where you weave in and you weave out. And this is your money zone, especially Zoe, one of the better mages in the game for doing this. You can throw Star Paddle top side. You can throw Star Paddle bot side. It is a strong way to get ganked, but given relative advantage, like this is a strong way to get ganked. The way that you're positioning right now, but at least if you're at least know which side of the lane you should be positioned on, Zac ganks become very difficult. And given the help and higher elo of your jungler helping you ward, Scarra should know how to ward against ganking patterns from Zac. Like it's a twofold system, right? Like, it's a double-edged sword. As the jungle elo progresses, and it's more difficult for you to be able to not be ganked by the enemy jungler, your jungler's elo progresses, and it's much more difficult for their jungler to gank you, given the level of vision priority that they will have on mid lane. Especially when you see a lane that's ahead like this, you want to try to protect it. Or so that should be the common thought pattern, although it is still solo queue and you kind of do have to fend for yourself a bit. That's where warding patterns come in. And it's why I don't really like stuff like this, right? Because I don't think this offers anything to the lane. If a Zac ganks you from this bush, realistically he could have ganked you from anywhere. Okay, I want to see more wards up topside. I want to see more wards over the top of wraiths where Zac will gank you from. Make it harder for him. At least don't feed it to him for free. Because in these lower levels, Zac E is not going to be properly leveled up enough to be able to gank you from anywhere in the lane. You still have plenty of time to oppress this brand. And freezing at this level versus freezing at level 8, yeah, completely different. But we're just trying to put him in the dirt until 6 right now. We're trying to take the lead that we got at 2 and extend it until 6. And then take the lead that we get at 6 and roam to the lane and then shove it down their throat. At least that's my interpretation of it. That's how I think it should be. Because this, I mean, like, look at vision. I mean, these are the key spots where Zac would gank you from. And there's no vision here whatsoever. And there's only vision here when we're stepped up this far. I mean, it's asking for it, honestly. Because if you ward appropriately here and here, in Wraith Camp and on your .A ward, and you play on top side of the river, or a top side of the lane, it makes it very difficult, especially with Lee having captured scuttles, for Zac to gank you. Like, nigh on impossible. Especially this early. Yeah. I definitely want to see you pick up another pink on your next pack. Yeah, see, if Bran was any better here, he actually would have backed. Oh, very nice zoning. Let's see how you do this again. Because I know how this should look. I want to see your zone patterns. Yeah. So what I want to see here, and you'll obviously have a lot more mechanical proficiency on me, but I do spec a lot of higher elo, specifically Faker VODs when it comes to Zoe, because I enjoy playing the champ, although I'm not mechanically prowess well enough to be able to take her into my own ranked games. I know how they should look, and I want to see paths of delineation. I want to see you cut off before you ult, have star paddle to the back, and then star paddle front. This is like the most common zoning technique I've seen him do, that he's had like reproducible results with. Or like you can actually probably a little to the left with this, right? Like this, star paddle like this. Because what this does is it like corridors him off, and then he basically is forced to play pocket zone protection. Like all of these are no-nos. Because he doesn't want to do is walk completely forward, and he really doesn't want to walk backwards. So that last one is kind of like really, really bad, and that only gives him a 50-50 shot, and it offers Scar a lot more play room to go with against the brand should you zone him off because he doesn't want to take the damage from Star and from Star Paddle. Most realistically, it was on cooldown. Well, it says on replay it wasn't. Let me recheck. 2, 1. It's off cooldown right now. If you star paddle down, it's like because this is the way that I see Faker do it. And I mean, best Zoe in the world or not, I want your opinion honestly on having him zoned off into a corridor and allowing Scarra a 50-50 shot on landing a Q versus ulting and potentially landing the E. Because I mean, I think it's something that's worth debating. I think it's at least worth a sentiment of thought. I mean, if you've seen, it's not necessarily leading with Q. It's trying to corridor off. Yeah, but in this specific instance, I think that it more revolves around jungler pressure. Yeah, because either way, at least if you do land the stun, most likely you're blowing a sum. Most likely you're blowing flash. If you see more reproducible results with landing E first, then by all means continue to do that. All I'm offering you is the suggestion of maybe considering trying to corridor off the enemy mid laner and forcing them to blow a sum using an X technique like I've seen Faker do often when he plays Zoe. Um, I don't really see many of my other high elo players like I don't spec Bjerg when he plays Zoe. If he even does, like I'm not really too aware if he does or not because I see Faker players so proficiently that I don't feel like I need an outside opinion on that. But if you see more reproducible results playing Zoe by leading with E first instead of leading or simultaneously throwing EQ in a Corridon fashion, then by all means continue to stick with that. I'm simply offering you up my interpretation of what potentially you could do to improve. But again, like I say, I'm not the mechanically proficient Zoe player here. So if that's what you found more reproducible results with, and that's what you continue to see that helps you climb, then by all means don't change up your methodology. Just simply offering you that outside perspective. All right, so we get vision on bot side river. Yeah, see, I really don't. This is something that like is definitely coachable, and I know that we know what's going on here. It's like at this point, we're trying to zone in a manner that the back wave has not really like allowed for us to. This is something that's like applicable in all champions, in all of mid lane. It's we basically like we talked about earlier. We coached the Silver Vel'Koz. I don't know if you were in the stream for that or not, but you basically just increase the width of your silhouette when you stand next to a wall. So this entire zone is off limits. Oh god, it won't fill this time. This entire zone, you could probably even like bring it out to here. This entire zone is off limits. And as you skirt closer to this, and Bran realizes that he has a wall of protection in front of him, it actually becomes more and more difficult for you to properly utilize your kit while you're playing around his cooldowns. And Star Paddle does go around, so I don't see a reason that we're playing here as opposed to playing something like this pocket, which is still far off the wall. He can't necessarily decrease the maneuverability of your avatar, given that your silhouette is not increased by the density of the wall. Thus, it's not making you a larger target. But you can still play pretty safely within this circle. and accomplish the exact same thing pressed up here that you could up here, potentially even more because the distance with Q, the star paddle will actually do more damage. Okay, so you were looking for the flash combo again. Realistically, you'd probably be able to kill me. I mean, you did it before, and if you're confident on that, then you have mechanical prowess to realistically be able to do it again. I just don't like, because this LOL skill capped, unskilled, whatever. Really popular YouTube segment that released a video on how to punish good players, and this was part of it, allowing them to cordon themselves off around terrain when you're playing AoE control mages, and allowing them to basically overcommit to disadvantageous trades that could potentially steamroll them the lane. So I wanna gear your mentality away from continuing to pummel your enemy mid laner into the dirt, and more towards the Mario Kart mentality of I'm slightly ahead. I just need to play every turn perfectly, and all the cars drive the same speed, so they'll never be able to catch up. But again, mechanical prowess is there. You've seen obvious success on this in the past. Continue to do what you're doing, but just keep in mind that suggestion because you really, I don't know. It's almost like you offer too much up here, and a decent player would have obviously capitalized on this. I don't think this brand is nearly as decent as I'm giving him credit for, but I like to pretend. And again, all this oppression is relative to our vision. I don't think that we're necessarily entitled to be playing on this side of the lane with no coverage. Do we have ward here? I dare say we had one when we died. Yeah, I'm going to be completely honest, though. I would not have even suggested a .A ward here, primarily because of how the lane is being played out. When you're playing in this pocket this close to turret, this ward is probably superior to the .A ward because you're not ever going to be, or you shouldn't be, when you have this level of health and mana on a disadvantage regardless of how far ahead you are in the lane, that you should be able to utilize this ward efficiently over a ward placed here. I think that this ward, should we know that Zach's on top side, which I hope to God that we do, would be a lot more beneficial here. Let's see exactly where. Over the wall. Yeah, so he actually crossed. Yeah, he crossed over because bot side was cleared. Okay. It's like I say, all I can really offer up is my opinion on this. I don't think that once you missed the WE that you should have gone for the Q. I think it was a little greedy. Again, if you've seen reproducible results with that, you need to go for it, but it still feels really coin flippy to me. It seems like something that will stop you from climbing into mid to high challenger. I don't know how often you frequent challenger, but it seems like something that will be taken advantage of by players who play more proficiently than this brand does, to put it politely. It's Paddle Star. Sorry. This is why I typically refer to abilities as their orientation on the keyboard. I think we're looking for a cheesy pass through here from Brand. Which we can do, but it's really interesting to me that we don't have it worded over the wall. I don't know. Because we can most definitely delete the Brand. It's just, it's all relative to vision. I don't know. The plays that you're making are fine plays. I just think you need to play around the fact that you do or do not have vision more. this this top lane brush warding, like, it's only this is only beneficial towards certain enemy junglers. I don't think this is the case where it is. I kind of want to see this go. I This is a great spot for a pink on this top side river brush, but I don't see this happen in any other high elo VODs that I spec. Not at least this consistently. Very nice clear. Nice combo. Definitely mechanically proficient. Just need to make sure that the things we're doing are consistent with our vision, lead and lane, jungler matchup, etc., etc. That's very interesting. Okay. At this point, it kind of does become difficult to coach because under normal circumstances, I wouldn't tell you to be in bot. I would tell you not to be in bot side jungle, simply because of the XP and gold deficiency that you're taking on mid. But relative to the fact that mid was already dead, and relative to the fact of how far ahead you are in gold and XP already, you definitely have the advantage that you need to be able to snowball with this. Again, playing up without vision, it's just like you really have to stop and think. With mechanically proficient of a player as you are, I think in your mind you're not stopping to take enough mental snapshots of your surroundings before you do anything. And I don't necessarily think that it's because Zoe is a mechanically intensive champion to the fact that you can't focus on your environment. Because I think a lot of coaches would say that, and given your level of proficiency on Zoe, I think she's actually played so second nature to you that this is more of a laziness thing. This is more of you actually not actively trying to play Mario Kart. Zach is in vision. I believe he had to walk through this ward to actually get into vision. Can double check, but I'm pretty positive that he walked through this ward to get into vision. Okay, so interestingly enough, he actually skirts the side. So well, and should this ward legitimately be 25 more units down, then it would have gone a lot differently. I don't know, because this is kind of a toss-up, right? Because I want to say that the way that you play needs to be relative to your position in lane based off of the actual ward coverage that you have around the map. It's not, and I agree, it's not that you can't do it, because you're actually so mechanically proficient on Zoe. You're like I was on Victor when I initially climbed. You could probably legitimately look at the map and not even look at the screen and still perform as mechanically as you're performing. You could legitimately do this with your face in the map and still mechanically perform as well as you are. She has probably played so second nature to you at this point that I want you to just hone in and focus on the map so hard that you can't be ganked. Because you're playing the faker mentality, and this is exceptionally rare that I encourage people to continue to play in a faker mentality, because it's inherently more dangerous and harder to carry on. That being said, like, draw so much pressure or be so good that they can't ignore you. But the whole mentality is draw the jungler to your lane, don't die to the jungler. If you can continue to perform in this way, but actually gain a sentiment of map awareness, even without vision control, because we should at least most of the time know where Zach is, which would let us know where he should ideally be ganking from, then you would climb like probably high challenger, like probably top 20 with this level of proficiency I don't see on many other challenger elo VODs that I spec. Like I regularly spec, top 20 Oriana Syndrome mains that don't pull stuff out of their ass like this, that are perfectly capable of. But they play the Apto mentality of never die, never submit anything in lane. Bless me. Excuse me. Um, if you could translate your mechanical proficiency into map awareness and learn to play Mario Kart, regardless of if you're playing Faker mentality or not, then, I mean, you'll climb really, really high. And I don't mean like Masters really high. I mean like potentially rank 1 on server high. But I mean, I definitely agree. You're probably too far invested at this point to continue or to try and change your playstyle. Continue to play the Faker playstyle of create so much pressure the jungler's forced to come to your lane, but just have the oppression relative to the vision. Get the vision first. Just do exactly what you're doing, but gain the vision first. Yeah, that's all passive, man. That's not even Sheen. It's amazing. It's just really, really lazy. Just this. That's killing me. Yeah. It's a strong failing point every time, and like when I was checking vision, I wanted to say something about it, but I really couldn't tell whether you're going to be punished for it or not. I was really hoping that you weren't because I want like to think that you were playing the way that you were playing relative to some knowledge that I didn't have about where the enemy jungler and mid laner were. But it appears that we have utilized our mechanical prowess before we've established or even thought about enough of positioning relative to vision or positional advantage inside a lane. I just, if you did everything that you did right there with vision beforehand, like you literally need to make a mental two separate column thing in your head, right? Like I can do this, but should I do that relative to vision? No? Okay. No, 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 no. It's like everything in your head, just do exactly what you do, but just ask yourself if you have the vision to do it. It's the only thing that I see that can even potentially possibly hold you back. Poor Sneaky. Sneaky come back. Do we have enough mana for Battlestar? These poor guys. How much are we holding on to? 15. It's not bad. Oh, 1.5k or so ahead of the enemy mid laner. Probably even further now. Yeah. About 1800. Almost 2k above the enemy mid laner. And the gap is only widening. Dear God. You see, stuff like this, and I want to say again, it's like every time you do something like this, right? Like, it's pretty rent-free, but I just want to take the mental snapshot of right here. Like, I see you looking for it. I want you to mentally snapshot right here. Like, 1.5 seconds before you make this awesome play. And say, do I have the vision? Like, the vision, the vision, the vision. If somebody jumps on me, I have the vision on this side. I don't have the vision here. I'm not saying you have to be a vision Nazi. I just want you to get geared towards what you need to improve on to climb. Because this is amazing play. You just need to make sure that you have the adequate support because everyone's gone. If Zach jumps on you right there, you're absolutely done so. Where is Zach? Is he still dead? Was res timer longer than I give it credit for? And it's just like, I know he couldn't have possibly been there. I just want to say that based off of how you've played thus far in the game, I don't think that you were even looking. Maybe you were. Maybe I'm wrong. But it's just, given the pattern that I see exhibited before me, it's not indicative that you were aware of it or not. If that's like the politest way I can put it. Mechanically, though, yeah, I mean, I can't hit these stars. I try all day long, I cannot hit these stars. Yeah, I want to see you as you pass through, and perhaps you have other plans with it. Maybe. I want to see you set up some sort of Herald vision, like here or River with pink. Like, it looks like we're using it to try to get a cheesy kill. We've ruled out that there's any vision on their bot side jungle. It's good. I mean, mechanically, it is 100% sound. Like, there's no recommendation I can make to you mechanically. I just feel like the vision could have potentially been used better for Herald control. Death cap, 133 CS at 18, which is pretty ideal considering that we have 14 kills at this point. We more than made up for the XP and CS deficit that we would have had should we be actually missing the 50 CS. I don't think it's really like a coin flip. I think that if you had gotten behind, you would have focused more on CS. But instead we got further ahead and are continuing to try to snowball because death is the best CC. I don't think that with you guys being this far ahead, not taking a Herald is really an option. I don't necessarily think that any objective is really contestable at this point with you guys being this far ahead. Well, with you being this far ahead. Should you be at any objective right now, it's uncontestable. There's too much value in New Herald for you not to be attempting to kill it. Yeah. It's the only thing that we have to be aware of, and I'm sure you're plenty aware of it. Saying it for anyone who may not be aware of it is that we are so incredibly far ahead. The only thing that we're really focused on is getting our team ahead. I think that Herald would have been the best use of that out of anything else. Yeah, definitely. I think we're entitled to blue at this point. Nice. Nice. That's really nice. Jesus Christ. We'll keep watching for more potential vision fallacies, but I think at this point in the game, you're so far ahead that you're really entitled to whatever you want. I can't necessarily tell you on any trade that may or may not get you killed at this point that you should not have taken it because unless you are legitimately double proxy farming inside of their base, you're entitled to whatever you want. Proto doesn't go through that wall. Interesting. I've never really cared to think about that interaction before. Again, faker mentality. Be so good they can't ignore you. And see, we have a lot more vision control now. Like, this I'm really, really happy with. This is what I want to see you. I want to see this relative level of vision all throughout the game. Like, obviously, in lower levels, you're not going to have this many wards. But relatively speaking, you should. Oh, man. Oh, that would have had him. Yeah, I think you put a little too much faith in your team here on killing the sack. Oh my god. This is so dirty. Oh my god. That's the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. That's absolutely insane. That's the dirtiest thing I've ever seen. Holy shit. That was really good. Yep. Just farming to keep our CS per minute up, our gold per minute up. Nothing wrong with this. I am legitimately curious as to why we built Morellonomicon before we built Lichbane. Is this standard now? I mean, since this last patch, I don't think I've spec'd the high elo coaching or challenger VOD on Zoe, or even looked up a Zoe build off of pros, but I feel like Lich would have brought you more relevance early to mid game, especially before Death Cap. Interesting to me. Is most Zoe mains that I see in higher elo really, really value their really, really value their Lich Bane earlier. It's interesting. Like I say though, first of all, you're the one that's mechanically prowess in this way. I mean, it's not that it's not necessarily my place to tell you what to build and what not to build on the champion that you're the best in the world at. Um, I am just curious, I suppose, about the thought process. Oh, that would have been dirty. Because of Proto and Q, they don't go Electrocute and don't go Proto on Zoe. This is also true. Which, I was curious about the Electrocute until I saw the level 2 solo kill on Brand, and I was immediately convinced. The Proto is shaping up to be quite interesting as well, though, especially for escapes. I'm kind of liking it. And if you maintain mid to high master or even low chally, mid chally, um, building this way, that I don't think anybody has a right to tell you that it's substandard. I really don't. And you can't just flip that around and say, oh, it's because of the champion. You can't simply stay in that elo because of the champion. If that were the case, you would see 1 million Malphite Mundo one tricks in higher elo. But you don't. They all stay low diamond. And there's about 1 million Malphite Mundo one tricks in low diamond. Yep, I think you guys need to rush Baron. Yeah, definitely as fast as you can, given the relative pressure that we have on bot lane with Jax. Oh god. Okay. See, this is like really lazy to me. How little ward coverage we have on pinks on top side. At this point in the game, in this elo, I feel like we should have the red cordon set up. Because, I mean, this is our jungle on top side. And I really don't like, even when you're this far behind, and like I said earlier, I can't really tell you not to do this because you're entitled to do this. But as far as your team goes, I think it's very, very foolish to try and just shove it down the enemy team's throat instead of really going for the Baron play. Because should they try to contest, I mean, it's just instant death. I mean, you didn't even proc Electrocute for that. That is insane. Huh. Oh, yeah, you can extend the range of her Q on Proto. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I never really thought about that. Interesting. Okay. That poor Brand. That level 2 solo kill opened everything up. Okay, so any questions you have, just ask in chat. Definitely think that overall, continue to be the oppressive faker that you are. Just make sure you're doing it in relation to vision. What we talked about, your build paths, your mechanical proficiency, all that, it's phenomenal. I just want you to do exactly what you're doing, but stare at the map the whole time you're doing it. Because everything else you're basically autopilot on. You play Zoe at her ceiling, not even looking at her. You could probably turn your monitor off. So, any questions you have, just post them in chat. I'll upload this video to YouTube just like I do all my other coaching sessions, so you can go back and watch it if you ever have any questions. Feel free to hit me up anytime. Yeah. Yeah, I want to just say, you just skip one step. Every time you just skip like one step. If it's establish lane priority, ward, dominate lane, extend lead, you just skip step 2. You just went from priority to dominate lane. You just need to make sure, like, play Mario Kart. Get ahead slightly and just keep the lead the whole way. And most of that's done through vision. Alright, I'm going to end the recording.